Food yoga. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much.
Can you please explain food yoga?
Well, food yoga, first of all, understand the basic idea of food yoga is to understand the word yoga. And yoga, of course, comes from the Sanskrit word yuj, and yuj technically means to unite or connect. So food yoga, therefore, is a way of life where you use food to connect mind, body, spirit, and also ultimately to connect with God. So it's like the ultimate form of yoga. Food being the most basic thing that we all do, it's the most basic necessity of life. So I believe very strongly, and this is sort of backed up by the charity work that I do, that food yoga is a way to not only to connect with God, but to create real unity in the world. Food yoga is an art, and it is a science. Just like with cooking, right? When you cook, you always want to add your signature note. You want to do your little special combination of spices, your special little technique. So it's an art form. You add your creative spirit to it, but it's also a science because there's certain principles which can't be broken. Certain things don't go together, certain things do go together. So you follow some sort of scientific, some sort of logic there. So similarly, food yoga is an art and a science. It's an art because it is a way that we can creatively express ourselves through food, using food as a medium to express our love and gratitude for some other person, our unconditional love for someone. And it is a science because it can help us to see the sort of energetic connections that we all have, how we're all related, how energy is flowing in and around us. How food essentially really is energy. It's not just rice and bread and curry and potatoes and so on, but it's also an energy form. And therefore to see that energetic connection, to see how food is carrying energies, for example, thoughts and things like that are invested in the food, to understand how the life cycle of food, how it's coming from seed and it's cultivated and harvested and processed in so many ways or handled in so many ways and eventually comes to our plate. So to understand all those energetic interconnections, those influences that food goes through, so that is important that's an important part of the food yoga process, to see more deeply, to see food beyond the simple gratification of the tongue and see it, the more interconnections, the interdependence that it has with us.
From what I understand, we've known each other for well over 25 years. And so you started practicing bhakti yoga, which is strictly vegetarian, no garlic, no onions, no fish, chicken, meat or eggs, etc. And in your journey, you've changed the content perhaps that you eat, or you eat food in a slightly different way, which is obviously you've thought about it a lot, you've investigated it a lot, but it's not that you're promoting vegan, you're promoting good, healthy eating. Please explain.
Well, yeah, when I first became a monk at the age of 19, first of all, vegetarianism was a whole new experience for me. I wasn't a vegetarian at birth. I first experimented with vegetarianism at the age of 16, but because of the influences of that time, I didn't really last very long. But at the age of 19, I gave it another go, and then very soon after, I decided to become a monk. As a monk, you don't have too much choice of what you eat. You basically eat what you're given. But the temple food was fantastic. And it was classic Indian vegetarian food. And I became very accustomed to that, and it was very satisfying. But after a little bit of time, I started to realize how this sort of diet didn't really suit me perfectly. And
Didn't feel 100% comfortable.
Didn't feel 100% comfortable. And the more I sort of investigated this and how food impacts our body and mind and so on, especially as a celibate monk, I realized certain foods agitated my mind. And of course this is why we don't have garlic and onions and things like that.
So in other words, what you're saying is experiment a little personally, and then it becomes not an experiment anymore, it becomes a realization.
Exactly. And I think that's an important lesson to be applied eat pretty much everything in life. There's too much today, sort of sheep mentality, where we just accept someone's opinion because it just seems like a good idea, or a lot of people believe that person, so therefore it must be a good idea.
Or I saw it on television.
Yeah, I saw it on television. So this sheep mentality is very pervasive today, and I think it's really hurting progress in society. I think, and that can be in terms of material progress and spiritual progress. We have to sort of embrace our individuality, embrace our uniqueness. We're all totally unique. When God made you, He broke the mold. He broke the mold. You're totally unique. There'll never be anyone like you, and the same with me too. And we have to embrace that, and it's beautiful. So the only way to really find a perfect balance of health and harmony is to embrace that, really tune into what you need. Right? You're the best judge. Tuning into what you need, communicating, learning to communicate directly with God, learning to basically hear the messages of God as God speaks to you in various ways, through other people, through experiences, through realizations, and not simply just turning the channel off and just following blindly because it seems to be a good idea.
So one of the things then that may have triggered, because what I'm thinking, triggered your interest, did you actually get physically a little bit low in energy or ill before you decided to look into these things?
Well, yeah, I did. I know, as I said, when I was a monk for 14 years, and what you do learn as a monk, that food is important in maintaining a vow of celibacy, because according to the Vedic teachings, spirituality, or the evolution of consciousness, begins with the tongue. And the tongue has two functions, tasting and vibrating. So what you eat will affect your consciousness. What you speak, as we learn from The Secret and various other philosophies of the law of attraction, the words you speak are literally writing your screenplay. So vibration is very important. Not only what's coming out of you, but what is coming into you, what you allow to enter your ears and to immerse into your body. So spiritual life begins with the tongue, and 50% of that, of course, is tasting. You can know a lot about a person, about their consciousness, by what they eat. They may appear to be very intelligent and very healthy looking, but you can pretty much know exactly where they're at just by watching what they eat and what they speak. My teacher one time said that someone may look very intelligent, but a fool is recognized as soon as he opens his mouth. Or someone may be have a dog mentality, and they could be sitting on a throne, but you throw a shoe or a bone and the dog will jump off the throne. So that's the reality. So spiritual life begins with the tongue. And so what I found is when I was a monk, I had to be careful about overeating. I had to be careful about eating too much of this or too much of that, because it did affect my body and my consciousness. And when I left being a monk, I saw the same thing happening. That not only did it affect me in terms of maintaining vows of celibacy or steadiness of mind, but it affected me physically. I felt lower in energy. I didn't feel inspired, because literally the food does become you. I mean, the food is really what is making your body up, and your mind is affected by the state of your body. That's just the fact. Until we get to the point where we've totally transcended this physical frequency, we're very much affected by what happens to the body in terms of what we put into it and what it's exposed to. So, 99.99% of the population is still very much connected to that physical frequency, therefore they have to keep these things in mind.